Welcome to Gentle Restorative. My name is Sandra. And of course, we will start by closing the eyes, focusing in on where that breath has gotten. And when you find it, give me a deep inhale and a huge exhale. I want you to visualize the length of your spine. Sit up nice and tall. Draw the stomach in. Lengthen through the back of the neck. And then very slowly let the chin find its way down towards the collarbone. Breathe into the shoulders. And then notice, I immediately could feel where the tightness was as soon as I dropped my head. That's what I want you to notice. Are your shoulders tight? If so, where? We're going to work them out a little bit today. So let's send them love and recognize where they might be at today so we're not pushing too far. Let your hands slip off of your knees. And then big inhale, arms up, gaze up. Bring the palms together, exhale them home to your heart, Anjali Mudra, and set an amazing intention for your practice. And then release the hands. So we're just going to start by attempting to loosen up a little bit. So the legs are going out into a V. I want you to have a prop out in front of you. I don't care what you choose, just have something. I think I'll start with my block. And just find some movement. We're going to loosen up. Keep the feet flexed right now. You know what? If already this is too tight, I want you to bend the knees because we're just taking this gradually. So you keep the knees bent and find your movement. It's totally up to you. And so today's theme is kind of timely, but not so timely. Like I don't intend to pick a theme that doesn't relate any other day of the year. So having said that, right, last night was a full moon, and that full moon is called the snow moon. Now, usually it's called the snow moon because it's February and there's snow falling, and that blanket of fresh snow is kind of about reflection. It's kind of about purity, cleansing. Of course, here for us, because the weather's just crazy, our snow has been melting. And so I want you to take the same analogy about cleansing. It's just whatever you decided to release with that full moon, just picture it now. It's being drawn down into the earth as the water is pulled downward. All right, I want you to use your prop and just kind of come into a supported, gentle fold. We're going to hold it right here. If you still want the knees bent, that's okay. Let's relax the feet. And then just close your eyes here. We talk a lot about letting go, what we can let go of. And I know that's part of the symbolism with this full moon, but I also want to look at the other side of it because that moon reflecting on the snow, assuming it hasn't melted, makes everything look brighter. And so we also want to think about, okay, a couple of days after there's been a full moon, then what? How do we use that energy to move forward, to brighten up our lives, to brighten up whatever it is, that space inside where you let go of something, we now want to illuminate it and let something new in. But what is that? And so let's look at both sides, but also incorporate moon symbolism into our practice. Remember, the Sanskrit word for moon is Chandra. All right, a couple more breaths here. And then you make the decision if you're happy here. This is option A. Option B, maybe you come down a little bit farther. Whichever you choose, you're happy with, you're content with, and you're focusing on the breath. And you might try this too. I'm using my elbows to push down and pull in towards my low ribs. And that is causing me to traction the upper body forward and lengthen out a little bit more. It also allows me to focus also a little bit more on pushing the backs of the legs down. So let's look for the stretch here. And then, of course, I'm giving you one more option. You can stay in option A where we started. You can stay here in option B. Or if you feel like, well, things are releasing, they're letting go. Maybe the muscles are looking a little brighter. I can come a little lower. So you decide if that is where you're at. I'm still using my elbows and forearms to push towards me so I can lengthen forward. You could visualize a gold string tied to the crown of the head or to your hair, and it's gently being pulled. All right, deep inhale, cleansing exhale. Let's slowly make our way back up. Set your prop off to the side. Draw the legs in. I'm going to just take them back to easy pose or sukhasana, right? Feet under the knees, or sukhasana, knees wider. That's kind of my personal preference, but you don't have to go there, right? All right, let's inhale that right arm up. Now hold right here. Lengthen again through the spine. Lengthen the back of the neck. Through a lot of these shoulder stretches, I want you to think about reaching for the moon. And in order to do so, especially that beautiful full moon up there, we're going to have to loosen up those shoulders, right? We want them to be able to reach as far as they possibly can. So I want you just to take this right shoulder in circles. Link it with the breath. So what I'm doing is on my inhale, my shoulder's coming forward and up. On my exhale, it's going back and down. Give me one more. And then just let the arm come all the way down. Let it even land somewhere behind you. That's fine. And close your eyes. And then back to center. Inhale the left arm up. Same thing here. Lengthen everything and then take this shoulder in backward circles. Now, if the arm isn't comfortable being straight up and doing this, you can make allowances for yourself. Maybe it comes out to the side. That is easier. Maybe it drops down. Easier yet. So you decide what you need to do. One more time around, and then on that exhale, we're going to just let the arm release down behind us. And then back to center. Deep breath in. Big exhale. Stay right here. Keep the eyes closed. And so I want you to visualize a full moon in the sky. Give me some adjectives. I'm sure bright is going to be among one of them. And then you kind of let your gaze drop down to the snow and the bright luminescent reflection off of that. And then let's take this idea of brightness to a different level about, with everything so illuminated, should it not be easy to figure out what to let go of? Yeah, not so much the case all the time, right? So I want you to think for a moment. Ask yourself this: what should I let go of? And just see what comes up. And then ask this, because this was a different question. What am I willing to let go of? And then last question for the moment. What am I going to let go of today in this practice? So these can be three completely different answers. We could have an acknowledgement of our biggest issue that we need to let go of, but be completely unwilling or unable to target that today. So pick something easy. Okay. So frequently throughout the sequence, while you're lying comfortably in a restorative pose, I'm going to hit you with, and what else? And challenge you to think about what else you might let go of. And when you think you've run out of answers, you haven't. I just want you to be still and let the answer pop up on its own. Okay? All right. Come on over into table. So again, have a prop nearby. It doesn't matter to me which prop it is. But let's first come on and down into child's pose, which in itself is a good shoulder stretch, right? Take the arms forward, slide your way down. Ideally, have the forehead resting on something. So you have a prop nearby. Okay, you came up with something you were willing to let go of today. And what else? Add it on. And so I will mention, I'm sure this is no coincidence, while our snow is out there melting right now, I also noticed how foggy it was when I woke up. So that fog is a distraction of clarity. So if you start to get flustered on the mat with me asking you, and what else, and you're kind of sick of me asking it, it just might be because of that fog, right? There's maybe a veil in front of you and you can't quite work your way into what it is that you really should let go of. And that's okay. We're just exploring this on the mat. And you know, the great thing is full moons come around again and again. So we have all of this opportunity to challenge ourselves, challenge our thought, as well as I'm going to give you kind of a sort of looking for an example, but a way that we can make this full moon appear every day if we need it. That's where I'm headed. So right now, though, you are in child's pose. All right. I want the head supported. You can't move forward if the head is not supported on something. One way we can stretch out the shoulders beyond where we're at in child's pose is to bend the elbows and let the hands come behind your head. That starts to deepen the heart space. You might feel how you're kind of caving down a little bit into this pose. That's good. We're looking for that. Breathe into the heart. And then release the hands. Walk your way back up. And you can stay sitting back on your heels. You don't have to. There's a few things we need to warm up before we move forward and do what else we could discover in Balasana. So if you need to change how you're sitting, that's totally fine. I want to draw the shoulders up, hold them in place as if they're holding your head for you. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Exhale back and down. Everything lets go. Inhale, shoulders slowly up. Hold it. Exhale back and down. Big release. Close your eyes. Do that again because I really want you to focus on what you feel letting go in the back of the neck when you do that exhale. So go ahead at your own pace. And then we're going to lengthen again, especially through the back of the neck. Drop the head towards the left shoulder. Keep the head tilted. Take the chin down towards the left shoulder. I'm going to slowly lift my chin so my head feels balanced, but I'm still looking over that left shoulder. And then bring the head forward. Now close your eyes. Focus on the neck, the shoulders, differences. All right, drop the right ear to the right shoulder. Keep the head tilted, chin to the shoulder. Keep looking over the right shoulder as you bring the chin back up to center over the right shoulder. And then bring the head forward. Close your eyes. Which side was easier? For me, definitely more actual pain going through my left side. I've noticed how tight that is. And so I'm acknowledging that, okay, might be some left side issues. I need you to acknowledge that for yourself. And then right ear to the right shoulder, slow circle with the head coming forward. Feel the shoulders pulling down. Once that left ear is to the left shoulder, we're coming forward again. And so if we're concentrating on stretching out the shoulders, what the heck is with all these neck exercises? Some of the shoulder exercises are going to stretch the capacity of the neck. So we want to make sure we've given the neck equal attention. Just going back and forth slowly. And then when you're ready, head comes back to center. Bring the shoulders up, hold them right here. Keep breathing. I want you to feel like you could relax the head into the shoulders. So soften even though you're holding the shoulders up high. And then slowly release the head. Drop the chin. Take the arms behind you, Yoga Mudra, which in front of you would look like this. Fingers interlaced, right? Straighten out the arms. You should feel the shoulder blades slide in towards each other. And while you're here, I want to take the hands also to Agni Mudra. So if my hands were in front of me, here's Yoga Mudra, and then index fingers straighten out and touch the floor. We're adding a little bit of fire, a little bit of heat to loosen up these muscles. And then let go. All right, if you shifted your position, let's come back to where we were for Balasana. Roll those shoulders back and forward a couple times. Perfect. All right, walk your way down, child's pose. Once you're comfortable, spread the fingers wide, glue them to the earth, lift the wrists up high. And then I'm going to set the wrist back down. And a lot of this is going to rely on you not pushing your limits and knowing if this is a good option for you or not, possibly knowing that before you do it, okay? And so here, what we could do is start to lift the forehead away from the mat and see if we can get our chin down to the mat or to whatever prop we're using. And so you can start to feel how that changes the stretch in the shoulders, or maybe you're super loose and you don't feel this yet at all, but I have some other ideas, so bear with me. Breathe here. And then just kind of notice where the arms are in proximity to your ears. So even with my chin on the mat, my arms are still forward of my ears, and we're going to work on that a little bit. All right, give me a deep inhale. Exhale. Walk your way back up. Perfect. Grab a strap. If you don't have a strap, a belt, a scarf, a dog leash. Okay, I'm going to fold mine in half so that I have better control over the rings and I don't hit myself in the head with them. Any comfortable seat you choose, grab onto that strap kind of wide. Make sure it's taut. Shoulders are down. Sit up tall, lengthen through the back of the neck. Inhale slowly. Arms are going up. Now exhale, just let them come a little bit behind your head. You might need to loosen up. If they're not going to go there, please don't force them. Big inhale. Exhale, come on back down. When you get to your inhale, bounce right back up. Just like the light of the moon reflecting off the snow, or the sun's reflection on the moon reflecting off the snow, however you choose to word it. Hold it. And come forward. So it's easier to get the arms behind the head when they're wide, right? But in child's pose, they weren't out like this. So let's come in. I'm going to choke up about a foot on my strap. My arms are still wide. And let's take the arms up and see if they'll just come a tad bit behind the ears. This might have changed everything. They might not. It's okay. It's okay. Just breathe. Even if your arms are out here, I want you to hold this and breathe. When you get to an exhale, come on down. Pause here. We're not done. I just want you to pause. Close your eyes. Do you carry, I was going to say the weight of the world, but I'd rather say, do you carry the weight of your world on your shoulders? So what else are you going to let go of? You could even imagine that something you know you've been pulling around from even childhood or adolescence that's really stuck with you, it's really bothered you. Imagine that is what is stopping your shoulders from going further back. Aren't you done with that? Okay, so and what else? You can do this. All right, I'm choking up on my strap. I probably came in about 6 inches. So we're meandering, until the arms are parallel, but they're not quite yet. My wrists are about where the knees are. Sit up tall. Take the arms up. Slightly back. Hold it here. Keep breathing. On an exhale, come on down. All right, let's choke up again. Let's try to get this stretch, and you might even want to fold it over again so you don't hit yourself with that tail part. Let's try to get the arms close to parallel. All right, take the shoulders back and down. I don't want them lifting out of the socket. Here we go. Inhale, take the arms up slowly. Be conscious of the movement. Be conscious of the very second that you notice tension. We don't want pain, so you're going to stop when you get there, right, and come down a little bit. And lengthening, and dropping the shoulders, and I'm seeing if they'll go a little bit further behind my ears without jutting the head forward, right? Keep that head in line with the rest of the body. You got that. Inhale. Exhale. I'm going to let you just drop the arms. Drop the strap. Move the shoulders. Perfect. All right. So, like I mentioned about why we had to warm up the neck, we also have to warm up the back a little bit because they're all attached. So come on down onto your stomach. We're looking for a baby cobra. Bhujangasana. Just a little guy. We're going to hold it and breathe. I mean, you could even support your chin if you really want to. Put a block under your chin. You just want to hold this pose. So, of course, it's not completely restorative. I am working to hold myself here, but it's compassionate. Just another moment. Okay, if you slid a block under your chin as well, slide it away. Come on down and just let go for a moment. Relax the low back. All right. Go ahead, push your way up into the table. Let's get some props out in front of us. Blocks, bolster balanced on top. I wouldn't go higher than the lowest height on the block. You might not even like this. We might want to drop the bolster down to the ground, so we're going to have to see. I do also want you to have something to rest your forehead on, so I'm going to grab my blanket and put it. This might be a little high. I'm going to have to play with mine too. Right in front of the blocks. So we're coming into child's pose, but I want the arms up here. And so you can well imagine that that means my head and heart are going to sink deeper. It's going to kind of force my shoulders to go further back. And so we want to be careful. That's why you might drop this down and you might have your head flap. I don't know. Let's see, because it's going to be different for all of us. So come on down and then stretch the arms out onto that bolster. So for me, this feels very similar to where we were before. I'm going to move the blanket and then I'm going to decide if this is too high. So I got my arms up on the bolster. I'm going to slowly lower my head down, drop the heart. All right, I like this. This is okay for me. You need to determine what's okay for you, right? So if you got here and you're thinking pretty much hell no, get rid of the blocks, okay? So we're going to try to soften the shoulders, send our breath there. Try not to turn your head like I am. I'm just trying to talk to you and look at you at the same time. Feel the heart space getting heavy. Maybe it can come down a little lower. And what else? Now, at any point in time you need a break from this, you should absolutely bring the arms down. You could take them back alongside you. All right, give me one more inhale, because this can be kind of intense. Let go of the breath. I'm going to slide one arm off, then the other, and very slowly bring my arms in towards me, and I'm going to let them reach back. Now, we've talked about this before. In doing so, that puts all the weight on your forehead. So make sure you're comfortable. Make sure your head is propped if you need it to be. Give me a deep inhale. As you exhale, let's make our way up. Perfect. And let's give the shoulders a little break. What do you think? All right, going down. We've already got a fabulous little tower built, so we might as well use it. I'm going to take my blanket behind me, my pillow, and I'm just going to get my heels up on top of that bolster. Perfect. When you get here, you must do a loud sigh. It's required. And let go. So I want you to close your eyes and visualize this layer of snow melting. It's getting lower and lower. Imagine you can hear the melted snow dripping down into the earth. I want you to also imagine that you can feel it on your back, as though, not the cold water, don't do that. I want you to imagine you feel your tension dripping down out of your body. Your body starts to feel heavier because there's this pull, but all of that stuff we're letting go of is going down into the earth. So very relaxing, inspiring. And so how can we use the symbolism of the full moon, the letting go, the exploration into new energy without there being a full moon? Do we have to wait? I suggest not. What I was thinking was you could replicate that whole experience by lighting a candle. The candlelight, obviously the reflection of the moon, or representing the light reflected off the moon. And then what I was thinking was, if you were to get a bowl and put some water in it, and what about a very inspiring bowl? Maybe it's not just a cereal bowl. Maybe it's actually a bowl you want to use for a ritual, or maybe you pick it up, buy it just for that purpose, something that you're inspired by. And then we could visualize all the stuff that we want to let go of, or even if it's just one thing, holding it in our hands above that bowl, and either turning the hands over to dump it in there or letting it slither through the space between the fingers, kind of like what we're envisioning on the mat, everything being pulled down, right? And then, because everything is intention based, you then set the intention that this is a moment, or sorry, throat chakra is having an issue. Set the intention that what you're letting go of is replaced by something that you want to manifest. And, really maybe look at the candle flame while you're saying that and drawing that in. So when you're done, you take that bowl of water, and I would suggest you go outside and dump it. Come back in, sit with that flame a little longer. You could set the intention. I like to do this. especially if I don't feel like sitting still. Set the intention that as long as that candle flame is burning, whatever you need to happen is happening until you blow the candle out. And so perhaps your intention is, as long as that flame is burning, I am being filled with this inspirational light that is filling the spaces of where I just allowed stuff to vacate. So picture that flame right now in your mind's eye. And you know what else might be kind of fun in this ritual idea? If you know that you're letting go of something and you know which chakra it's related to, why don't you get a candle that's the color of that chakra? So we're really targeting balance and meaning. All right, I left you here in a very comfy, happy place, but we have other things to do. So I want you to hug the knees in. You can rock this out if you want to. And then just go ahead and tip on over into a fetal position. Stay right there. And slowly make your way back up. So I'm guessing most of you do not have this yoga prop, but I thought I would show you, in case you pick one up, how you can do what we just did. So a friend of mine gave me a yoga wheel. You can do the same thing, stretching out the shoulders in child's pose, simply by placing the hands on that wheel and slowly rolling forward, right? Now, do you have to have a wheel? No, it makes it easier because it rolls away from you, but it's the same idea of getting the hands up on something and the head down, right? Okay, so where we're headed right now is I want you to come back down onto your stomach. You, again, are going to need something to rest the head on. I'm going to grab a block. My right arm is going to start to thread underneath my left arm. As I drop down lower, I really want to get this right shoulder as far out in front of me as I can. We are adding on the leg, so this is going to make it easier. The left leg is coming out. It's going to look like gecko got stuck in the pretzel. So that gives me a little more space to get that shoulder out in front of me. Slide your prop over for your pillow, and then reach that left arm straight overhead. Now I have the left arm in front of my chin so that the hand comfortably finds the ground. If you feel like you really want to go overhead, you can. It's going to be a little more challenging to hold this because remember, gecko is a hip opener. This hip now wants to fall forward, which is going to make it kind of challenging to hold the arm there. So I'm thinking keep it in front of your chin. It's more comfortable. Close your eyes, soften. And what else? So I really want you just to be present while we're here. I don't want to stay here super long because I don't want your bottom arm to fall asleep. I don't want the fingers to lose circulation, but I do want you to be present to the stretch. Give me an inhale. As you exhale, let's get the arms unpretzelized. And then I'm going to straighten out that left leg. Perfect. Let's take this to the other side. So left arm is going to start to thread underneath the right. I want to drop that shoulder down, get it forward, hold the right knee out to my side. Head on your pillow, right arm overhead. So while you're on this side, I will tell you a Zen story. You might have heard it before. It's a pretty common one. But it's about it's about a thief who breaks into this master's house and he wants to steal stuff and there's nothing there. I mean, he literally looks around and there's just nothing to steal. Well, while he's there, the master comes back and the master says something like, I just feel terrible. You came all this way to take something and I don't have anything for you to take. So hold on, let me give you my clothes. And so he takes off all his clothes and hands it to the very confused and befuddled thief who runs off. The master looks up to see the beautiful moon and says, I wish I could have given him that. And so I want you to start thinking about, the brilliant energy of the full moon. We can find it within. We don't have to wait for it to show up. In fact, what I want you to think about, let me get you out of that pose first. Take a deep breath in. As I already told you, I didn't want your arm falling asleep. Exhale, get the arms untangled, straighten out the right leg. Just move your prop aside, rest your head. Come on down into a reverse Shavasana for a moment. Where was I headed with that thought? I know where I was headed. We can be inspired, right, by that full moon every month. We should be. It has a lot of symbolism. There are a lot of rituals for full moons, but I do want you to bear this in mind. Whatever the moon looks like on any given day, its shape has never changed. It might look like a crescent moon, but it's still a full moon. Catch my drift? So I want you to correlate that with the inspiration inside of you. I mean, the days where you feel like, I don't have it all going on. Well, you do actually, because you probably haven't, the essence of you hasn't changed either, but we're not seeing it. And so I want you to dig deep. So here's what I'm going to ask you, and what else? Oops, sorry, trying to move my wheel. All right, I'm going to try one more thing with the shoulders. They're probably really tired of all the attention they're getting, but we'll make it the last one and we'll move on to other body parts. So go ahead, and I kind of want you to come up, and I also kind of want you to see what we're going to do, because you might need a lot of props, you might need no props, or you might be thinking, I am so not doing that, and that's fair too. I'm going to show the pose to you front and back. So initially, I'm going to come onto one side where it looks like I'm in a fetal position, but the supporting arm is going straight out behind me. My front arm will be in scarecrow. So from the other side, right, that arm is straight out, and I'm just going to rest right here. Now, if your shoulder doesn't want to bear that weight, what I would suggest is a prop getting you a little bit off of the ground so that the arm and shoulder has a place to drop on the other side of whatever you're using, the bolster. It isn't being pushed against the hard earth. All right, let's try this. So why don't we come on down to our right side first? Knees are bent. Again, decide, it could be as easy as taking a blanket too and just putting it under the low side ribs. That'll give your shoulder more space too. So I really need you to dig deep and see what you need. I'm going to take that right arm, stretch it straight out behind me. And then that left arm is bent in front. Now, let me come to the edge here so I can actually straighten my arm. Okay, I need you to think about a few things here. First of all, are you comfortable? Second of all, is the head on the floor? I mean, I need it on something. I don't want to hang in space, right? The third thing is, what if you get here and you don't really feel much of a stretch at all? So in that case, and do remember that I'm always reminding you to create space with the bottom shoulder. So I'm pushing that arm out away from me. If you don't feel anything here, what you could do is take that top leg. I'm going to start to find the ground behind me so I can put my left foot down. I'm going to start to open up that knee towards the ceiling. You will know when to stop. But that's going to force more weight going backwards onto my shoulder. And that is only for those of you who didn't feel anything from position A. All right, find your place, close your eyes. Okay, so if you took that top knee open, let's start to close it off. I'm not staying in these poses super long. I don't want the shoulders yelling at me later, frankly. So let's go ahead and plant that left hand, bend the right arm, and slowly push your way up. Now, let's baby that right arm for a moment. Go ahead and get your hand to that right shoulder, massage it out, close your eyes. You're sending the shoulder love and some of that moonlight. Perfect. Take the shoulders back a couple times. Inhale the arms when you're ready. And exhale to the heart. All right, let's try the other side. So left side ribs down. Knees are bent. Left arm is starting to reach behind you. Create space with that shoulder. If you don't know what I mean by that, I'm not coming down straight onto the upper shoulder. In fact, that hurts already. I am moving it out behind me so that what's touching the ground is really the ball part, the front part of that shoulder. All right, find your happy place. And then again, decide if you don't feel any stretch on that bottom shoulder, you can start to open up that top leg. There are no brownie points for opening up the top leg, so please don't push yourself. I guess I could give you one more option, only for those of you who open up the top leg and still don't feel enough. What you could do in your own practice, since we didn't do it on the first side, you could take that right arm, reach it behind you. It's possible. I have a wall I'm kind of butting up against. It might be possible that your arms can get into Yoga Mudra here. That's pretty substantial. It's not painful for me. It's substantial. I can feel it in a lot of places. So play around with where you should be. If there's a wall behind you, use it to your advantage. Maybe the top arm just rests on the wall. So there's a lot of different ways we can change this pose to be exactly what each of us needs it to be, all right? Only here for another moment. All right, when you're ready, if you opened up the top leg, bring it down. Lean into that right hand so you can bend the left, slowly push your way up. I want you to give the left shoulder some attention. When you're ready, shoulders back and down. Inhale the arms. Take them to the heart. And let them go. I am so done with the shoulders. How about you? All right, let's set up something else that has nothing to do with our shoulders. I want to make a neck roll or a pillow, whatever works for you. I feel like this blanket's just a little thick, but I guess I could have opened it wider. All right. Let's have a prop nearby. You could have one on either side. Let's just kind of plan ahead, I suppose. We're laying back, hugging the knees in. I'm going to hang on to my right knee. I'm going to stretch that left leg up to the ceiling. If you need to hang on somewhere, go ahead, or if you want to. Okay, so inhale here. Exhale, let's let go of this leg. Let it come all the way down to the mat. And then we're taking our supine twist. Now, normally we open the shoulders out, right? I don't want to do anything with my shoulders. How about you? So can we just make this about the twist? So as I bring the knee across, you might use your prop for that knee to rest on. In fact, you might even want the arms straight down alongside you. I want the shoulders to feel like we have forgotten about them and they're so happy about that. And just close your eyes here. Let's see, I know I had a quote for you. This is by Mehmet Murat Ildan. If you have a problem with the moon in the sky and you're unhappy, change yourself because the moon won't change. And so I think the full moon is a great reminder to us that we only have the power to change ourselves and our reactions. We've heard this quote a million times, not the one I read you, what I just said about changing yourself. We hear it all the time. You can only change yourself, but it's true. But I think sometimes an analogy or an example to remember, like this moon quote, is a good one to remember that. Remember I said the moon doesn't actually change its shape when it's waxing and waning, right? It stays the same. We are not going to change the shape of the moon. And so it's a good reminder that the change is going to come from within and it's going to be about choice, frankly, right? We can choose not to change. We can choose to drag around as much baggage as we want to. We have free will. And, you might be getting a benefit to hanging on to something. And that's okay. So giving you a lot to think about. I want to change this twist to the other side. So let's go ahead and roll out of it. Hug both knees in. Hang on to the left knee. Send the right leg up. Big inhale. Exhale the right leg down. And then that knee, the left one, is coming across you to the right. Hopefully you have a prop there to catch it. Relax the arms. Close your eyes. So if you kind of resonated with this theme and you have your own yoga practice, what you might want to add in or think about adding in are poses like Ardha Chandrasana. Remember, Chandra means moon, so half moon pose. You could do it on the floor, right? On starting in table, you could do it standing. You You might want to think about Anjanasana. Remember, that's Hanuman's pose. And while he's not reaching for the moon, he's reaching for the sun. And so those are some ideas that you might want to incorporate. And let's slowly take this back to center. Hug the knees in. You can even see if we can grab the big toes here while we're hugging in, because our arms lengthened out, right, with all the shoulder stretching. We're going to send the legs up to the ceiling. You don't have to hang on anywhere if you don't want to. Big inhale. Exhale, bend the knees back in, plant the feet on the earth. And this is where you're going to want to pause and grab whatever you need for Shavasana. I'm going to give you a moment to get comfortable. And then once you have found your supine position of choice, close your eyes. And I want you to go back to visualizing, this expanse of melting snow. So you can see grass popping up in various areas, but you also can see, expanses of whiteness. And close your eyes. The reflection of the moon on those parts of snow, so bright and brilliant. And you see yourself just sitting quietly, tuning into what you hear. And you can hear the melting snow. Maybe you hear it more as ice dripping, icicles, right? And I again want you to connect this with the feeling of water being pulled down into the ground. Same thing with your muscles. Muscles weighting down into your mat as they relax, as they choose to let go. Soaking in whatever light you would, I guess what I want to say is whatever light you resonate with. So perhaps it's moonlight. Perhaps you want to see sunlight. You want to feel warmth. Like it's freezing right now in my basement, so I'm picturing the sun. It could be light from your candle. It could be a colored light, whatever you want to imagine. I want you to fill up with that light. As you release everything else, you grow heavier and heavier. The body relaxing and letting go. You feel completely content. Literally a weight off your shoulders. Deep breath in. Loud exhale. I'll see you on the other side of Shavasana. Breathing in light. Breathing in peace. And breathing in essential balance. As you become more aware of the space that you're in, invite some movement back into the body. And then when you're ready, gently roll into a fetal position. And very peacefully push your way up. And bringing your hands together in front of you, create some friction. I want you to place those hands on the opposite shoulder. So the shoulders soak in a little bit of warmth, attention, love. Drop the chin. So when you get to your next inhale, drop the arms, sweep them all the way up, take the gaze up, bring the palms together, and then your exhale starts their descent back home to your heart. The light in me bows to the light in you. When I'm in that place in me and you're in that place in you, then we become one. Namaste.